Hey guys, Dov here, back with Bretonnia against High Elves once again. This time we're changing it up a little bit, going off meta, and I've decided to bring a lore of Beast's Prophetess here. The idea here, we're going to be summoning Manticores, of course, obviously, but then Winston's Wild Form in particular will give extra armor and base weapon damage to Knights of the Realm, and considering that they have pretty good weapon damage, non-AP weapon damage that is, 28, so we should be able to get a nice damage spike there. And of course the extra armor will help, putting them up to 120 armor. So basically turning them into like Reiksguard with anti-large, more or less, is the goal here with that spell kit. Got a bunch of peasants here. Also have managed to upgrade some of these peasants with some veterancy and get a Grail Relic, so it's not a complete pushover main line. Got some Knights Errant over on the low ground there as well. Rider Rohan once again leading the High Elves as he loves to do. I think he considers himself a High Elf main, certainly. We've got Lothern Seaguard out to the flanks, Spearmen and Silverin Guard in the back, Archers and 2 Bolt Throwers. Techless leading the way, and a Lore Master, both on foot, which is very thematic. And a nice defensive position here as well, so I definitely got my work cut out for me. A Harmonic Convergence on those Silverin Guard. They're up to 78 melee defense, 54 melee attack, actually making really good contact on this Prophetess, who just miscasted herself horribly, casting that big Winston's Wild Form. But you can see 45 weapon damage there and 120 armor. Lothern Seaguard are going to get pounded on that charge right there. We've also summoned up a Manticore to start getting it done. Bolt Thrower, though, absolutely making mincemeat of my Archers. They are going to start routing off here soon. We have been able to do some counterfire to the High Elf Archers here, but it's really not a lot. Techless manages to net the Feral Manticore, too, before it can jump on him. It was a very nice play there. I was also trying to shut down those Archers. But the Cycle Charge is real, pulling out for another timing push, coming back around with the Knights of the Realm. Meanwhile, Fiery Convocation's going in the front line. I'm going to pull my Men-at-Arms back. I mean, I could sacrifice them, but it's a little bit needless at this point. We're also going to drop the Assault of Stone here, which, very nicely done, is going to get dodged by Rider Rohan there. So mostly a waste, unfortunately, and I only have a one-time use of that, so definitely felt like I should have saved it, but hey, there you go. Lothern Seaguard shattered there, so we're starting to break up this side of the formation. The peasants are fighting. They're holding for the time being, which is really all I can ask of them. Finally, Techless is able to dive down, though, and along with the Grail Relic, or I say Techless, the Manticore is able to dive on Techless, and together, together, there we go, together, they should be able to do quite a bit of damage to him, so that's a great situation for me. Another Overcast. Both of those Overcasts, though, did a ton of damage to those Prophetess. Another Overcast, Winston's Wild Form for more armor and weapon damage there. But unfortunately, those 2 miscasts have been absolutely devastating. Because the Prophetess doesn't have very much HP, she is really feeling the heat right now from those. And I am regretting my decision and also cursing RNG at the same time. Knights Errant have made their way up and around here, going to be getting in and starting to try and shatter some of these various units. Lothern Seaguard have taken quite a bit of damage. My issue is the Silverin Guard and Spearmen have taken very little damage. I kind of regret the choice of taking Spearmen here rather than Swordsmen. I mean, obviously, it's hindsight's 2020, right? I couldn't have necessarily known that he would go with a very infantry-centric composition, but the spears are basically useless here. Like, there's no, similar to Rider Rohan's build before, interestingly enough, for his name, has gone all infantry build for the most part, so the spears really don't have any kind of extra place here. Same thing, the anti-large bonus of the Knights of the Realm doesn't help a whole lot, although they are still shock cavalry, so they're going to be useful. The Swordsman would have definitely been a lot better of a pick here, but we're going to try and push through and keep mopping up these various Spearman units. Another Manticore been summoned up, try and drop down and provide some terror. The Prophetess feeling very ill at this point, but the fact that the Manticore is been summoned is nice. It can get a quick terror route here. And the Knights are going to continue to try and clean up these tattered units out in the periphery while we regroup the peasants, continue to have them bog down the Silverin Guard, and just, you know, fight to the death. Unfortunately, my Knights Errant are having a hard time holding the leadership, but the Knights of the Realm are still relatively healthy. The issue is that you really can't cycle charge with Cav in this game super effectively, at least with heavy cavalry, without taking damage. Against a unit like Lothern Seaguard, you're just at some point eventually going to take some counter hits and start just shedding models over time, and it all just depends, right? If you can complete your mission before you lose too many models, then you'll win. If not, then it could be tough, but right now these Paladins are coming back, trying to get on Techless and finish him off. get rid of some of the leadership. Likewise, the Lore Master also is gone for. So balance power slightly in my favor at this point. Feeling pretty good about things. We've got the Knights. Although they are getting pretty low, they have been doing a great job, but the Manticore summon runs out, which is unfortunate. That's my last source of terror. I was really hoping for a big terror route on this pocket, but the High Elves leadership, as it is, often meant to do, holds. And I'm not able to get the terror route that I need. The Knights are going to have to sweep up and around, screen out with some of the peasants here, and again, try and just sweep up mobile units, get rear charges where I can, and just use the support of the peasants. And yeah, that's it. The Prophetess, unfortunately, is going to flee at this point, which will have some repercussions later on down the line. But a Fiery Convocation also going to come in, shut down one of these last Peasant Bowmen. I guess didn't want to try and risk it being danger close. Even though the Silverin Guard do have magic resistance, they would take less damage. He could potentially hit some of them here, trying to get at these Men-at-Arms. Here comes a big rear charge. Managed to find the gap and get in with lance formation in the side and rear of all these Spearmen and Silverin Guard. Will it be enough? They're wavering, but they're holding. My troops are also holding because of the Grail Relic juicing up their leadership, but these High Elves, man, one unit of Spearmen routes, but the rest of them just do not want to route. A very unfortunate situation for me, so I'm going to have to pull my Knights back, go for another timing push. These Bowmen trying to finish off the last of these Spearmen here. Very pitched engagement. Lore Master of Hoeth as well. It's just not looking good, though. Yeah, balance power slightly in my favor at this point. A lot of that is because of the Paladins still being so healthy, but these Knights, I'm not super confident that without the volume of the Knights, I'm going to be able to deal with all of these spears. As it is, though, you can see here that my Damsel is very close to the edge of the map, and watch what happens as she flees. We are immediately going to see a map-wide chain route, pretty much, of all of my forces, which is just rough. Basically, everything besides the two Paladins chain routes here because of some cascading leadership effects, and even the Grail Relic routes there, and all of a sudden the balance power takes a turn against me. I only have these two Paladins left, and it's not looking good. All of these Spearmen and Silverin Guard are very healthy. I believe these Silverin Guard even still have their Martial Prowess active, which is going to be huge in the late game here. But let's fast forward a little bit. I'm going to try my best to regroup these forces and chase off some of these routing High Elves out in the periphery, while the rest of my forces flee away in terror. And unfortunately, that Lord Fled debuff lasts just long enough that, like, these Knights are going to get off the field, and some of these peasants are going to get off the field. Some of them will rally in time, but we shatter a few units over there with the Paladins. Some of these Knights, unfortunately, get shattered by some bow fire. Managed to get caught out in the open by those Lothern Sea Guard. That shatters them, so super close at this point. Absolutely down to the wire. A bunch of these peasants rally, but we'll try and get back to them with the Paladin and the Knights. And that looks like it could be it. Final engagement, a nice reform here for the final phase, and it's basically a battle in several acts, right? A multi-phase battle, a lot of back and forth, so hopefully you guys like this. I know it was certainly a fun battle to play. Well, very, very stressful on many levels, but also pretty fun. Yeah, rest in peace, though, to the Damsel miscasting and blowing herself up horribly twice. She even has a little bit of magic resistance, which the miscast damage does count as magic damage. But it didn't help, obviously. Finally, the engagement gets underway here. Bowmen come in to do the initial skirmish. We're able to shatter one group of Lothern Sea Guard, but one of my peasants shatters. And we'll be able to break the High Elves' leadership. Really, my best hope is to try and get like a side or rear charge with some of these units and to break some of the High Elves, then cause a chain route, but I don't think we can do it. Didn't get the best side charge in there. The Paladins will kind of force a blob, though, and this side charge should be pretty impactful. Knights of the Realm able to impact quite a few unit models there, but the Lothern Sea Guard are right behind them. More Spearmen as well able to follow up immediately, so I'm going to have to pull up and around, and you can see that there that I shed a few models and took a bit of damage on that cycle charge, which is just painful, right? Very, very painful. Paladins are trading okay for the time being. Spearmen rush in. The Grail Relic. Does it actually count as large? I believe it counts. It does count as large, so it will be getting poked hard by these spears, even though the large part of it, which is this guy on the wooden thing is technically dead, but anyway, let's not question it too much. It gets taken down, and with that, a lot of the peasants' leadership gives up, and this Knights of the Realm also going to give up their leadership. Unfortunately, that Grail Relic was actually very important in holding my forces' cohesion together, and with that, it is going to be a victory for the High Elves. My Paladin's going to make their gallant last stand among this staunch line of spears. Staunch blob of spears, more like it, but yeah, not going to be enough. Those Paladins are in over their heads, and despite a few rallying forces trying to come back, they don't get here in time. And that's the end. So very well played, Rider Rohan. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Super close battle, honestly. Absolutely down to the wire there. And I do feel a little bit gypped by those miscasts, I have to say. But that's taking nothing away from Rider Rohan's performance, certainly. And I do think I could have potentially played a little bit better in certain areas. Yeah, but that's a strong build. This sort of mass Spearman, Lothern Sea Guard. And basically you take as many spear units as you can, which is Silverin Guard, Spearman, and Lothern Sea Guard. And it's good because you just have so much anti-large infantry to have to chew through. And it's all really good stats, like high melee defense. Silverin Guard, especially with their 20 bonus versus large, they did get a nerf to their AP damage. That 20 bonus versus large is still absolutely massive. They're hitting for something like 50 melee attack, I want to say, against large units with their martial prowess active. Yeah, what do they have? 30 plus 20, so yeah, 50 melee attack against large units, and most Bretonnian Knights really don't have that much melee defense. They are going to be getting really consistent hits against them. Yeah, only 26 for Knights Errant. Knights of the Realm, same thing, only 26, 30 for Grail Knights. So really, yeah, you'll be looking at like a 55+% chance to hit on all of these Knights here on those Silverin Guards. So Silverin Guard certainly did help this matchup quite a bit. I still think it might be slightly in Bretonnia's favor. I don't know. I need to play around with it a little bit more and see, but certainly the Lore of Beasts. Yeah, if only Wisdom's Wild Form was AoE baseline, I think it would actually be a really, really good spell. But it is what it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.